And hola, wepa, what's going on, mi gentes? This is the real episode 9 this time. The real one. Things I wish I knew. And this is all about wisdom that only comes from living. And, I'm not saying that, making mistakes is a bad thing, but this is something that I feel like a lot of people can relate to. So I really want to go down into like memory lane and then maybe get into some things that is really going to touch base with your heart. So let's get right straight into it. If I could sit down with my 18-year-old self for like 1 hour, or if you would, um, I don't think I would tell him how successful I'd become. I don't want to jinx that or create an alternative reality. I don't think I'll tell him like, to avoid making mistakes, but I would try to give him some perspective because life has a funny way of teaching you lessons, but only after you already paid the price for them. And that's what I always try to. Anyway, this episode isn't about regrets, it's about wisdom. And it's all about things I wish that somebody had sat me down and taught me before I had to learn the hard way. So let's go with these 6 lessons. Lesson 1: pick a career that gives you some purpose and stability. Now, when I was younger, I thought about just picking a career that I could find something I'd like to do. And no one really explained to me like careers can like affect your whole life. They can correct they can like affect everything. Your income, your stress, your family, your free time, your opportunities. Like I just wish someone had like just shown me different careers and what they actually look like. I never really got that opportunity. Not just, oh, like if you like to do this and this is fun, you can make money off of it. Like, and here's how much money you can make. But then it's like, times change, economy changes. So like, what is actually going to be in demand right now? Like, what's the day to day going to be like? Like when I was in high school, before I went to high school, I actually was going to go to Penn Tech and I wanted to work on airplanes. I wanted to go to carpentry. And then things changed and I saw like what Wilson was just a failing school. And I wanted to become a teacher and change the system. And while teaching did give me purpose, purpose alone does not pay the bills. Now, if I do it over again, I probably would spend my time like researching careers that are upcoming and that pay me really good, so that then I may go in that direction. But don't get me twisted. I don't regret teaching. It's just, having a really good career definitely does help you with your career path. It definitely helps you. This information creates options. So I wish like someone pushed me in the direction of like being an engineer and working on airplanes, or what it would look like to stay in Penn Tech instead of going to Wilson and working in carpentry and working with my hands. You know what I'm saying? Really working with my hands when we talk about carpentry, or working with the AC unit, the AC, the HVACs. You know, and then I became a teacher, and then here I am. Not that I'm not unhappy, but it is a very underappreciated um, career that I know if I put just as much effort in these other careers that would pay me more, I would have a much better quality of life. Lesson 2: learn about money early. Like nobody taught me about investments. No one taught me about retirement, how credit works, compound interest accounts. Like no one explained to me how like starting young actually matters. Like I wish I knew that every dollar that was given to me during on my birthdays, I should have invested it. Because they'd be worth so much right now. You know, um, and it doesn't go to say money is everything. It's not. But financial freedom gives you choice. It gives you peace. It gives you the ability to help people you love. And I wish I started that sooner, honestly. There were times where I was just very careless with my money, very careless with spending. One time I had a phone bill of like $700. Please don't ask me how I got that. My credit sucked, and let me tell you, student loans do not help at all. I tried to buy a home and saved at least like 10,000, and I forgot I didn't know I needed 15 plus some. Um, but slow it down a little bit. My goals are to have like 20,000 in this bank account, 15,000 in this bank account, 50,000 in this bank account, and be able to have these three or four bank accounts that are just growing in money. That I'm able to just live off the interest. Buy a home. I mean, I just got some great news from Valerie, my baby, about possibly going to Charlottesville, renting out a place in Camden, and Airbnb in Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that would be our vacation home, but actually being there, making a difference there, and being in these places where we can actually make a difference, as I'm doing right now in Camden. Having a great credit score, saving a lot of money, just those are goals. Those are financial freedom goals. I want to be able to own something that's mine, something I can, so that my son can inherit it when he gets older and he'll be able to appreciate it and make a better difference. He'll be a better man than I am when he gets older. And those are goals that I really want to like aspire to. And I hope you guys, can relate to that little brain match. Lesson three. This is a tough one to talk about. Not every friend is meant to stay. And this one hurts a lot because I'm so social and I try to make as many friends as possible. And when you're young, you think your friends are always going to be there. You make promises, you make plans, you imagine everyone growing old together, and then life happens, which is fair. People move out of state, people move far away, people change their outlooks and their perspectives. Some relationships, friendships just fade, and some just end suddenly. Others drift apart, and that's okay. It still hurts, but that's okay. I wish I understood that letting people go doesn't erase the memories you shared, and simply means that your path, both your paths just changed and went different directions. And I have a lot of friends when I was younger, and I had a friend in my childhood that I just don't see anymore, and that really doesn't bother me too much. People in high school I was friends with, I don't really connect with as much, and I wish I did. People in college I still kind of talk to and still hang out with, and just some people you thought you guys were going to be friends, and you thought that things were going to be different, and then you guys just go in a different direction. And I'm not saying it's what friendship, okay, so what friendship means to me really is just communication, just understanding, just getting to know me. I'm ever changing, I'm ever growing, and I just wish that other people would think and feel not like me, but empathize with me and understand that's what I want and need in a friendship. And I don't know. I guess other people feel differently, and I would never know because these people do not communicate. And my friends, past, present, just don't communicate. And I wish they did. I wish we got together for my bonfire nights. I wish, I did plan so far ahead so that no one's planning things or making excuses to plan things or anything else. I don't know. Like, it's so weird. And that really like drives me insane. I just talked about that, and that drives me up the wall when you're trying to like, make these friendships, long-term friendships, last, and communication, visits, making plans, that's how you build a friendship. And I'm not sure what friendship means anymore in this society, in this reality. Okay, getting too worked up over this. Um, Lesson four: choose your partner very carefully. Now, this is gonna be anyway. Let me get straight into it. You know, this might be one of the biggest lessons of my life because it was always hard for me to choose a partner. Um, because you don't want to just choose someone just because you're lonely or because they're attractive. that may be the first glance. You know what I mean? Like, but there's something more, something deeper. You want to genuinely enjoy building a life with them. Like someone you can communicate with freely, someone you respect, someone who brings you peace. Like love isn't chemistry, even though it's part of it. You know, like it's teamwork. You know, understanding that a much better today. I understand that much better today than I did in my 20s because that's something that like people ignored red flags you know, or I was a red flag. I was a walking red flag in my 20s, especially when I was 25. I was a walking red flag from when I was 25 till I was like 30, you know. But in all reality, I definitely learned a lot about choosing my partner and what it means to choose a partner, what it means for people to actually see me for who I am and see, excuse me, and see like exactly like what kind of person, I was in a relationship and what I was trying to accomplish. You know, I know growing in a relationship, sometimes you see different things in a person, and sometimes you want to be with that person, and sometimes you don't want to be with that person. And what I've learned is that I'm not trying to criticize any of my past partners, just thinking about like what I learned from each partner that helped me grow to who I am today, which is, and right now, still ever growing and an amazing man, to my girlfriend, to my love, to Peanut, and to her amazing daughter. So this is the man I've become, especially when it comes to like shaping myself and who I am and learning from my past mistakes or past partners that I fortunately let go. So it leads me to where I am now. Um, I hope I got that. I hope I said everything. I wasn't construed to something else. All right. Lesson 5. Stop comparing yourself. Isn't there's a phrase there that says like, the comparison is a thief of joy or something like that. And this is one of the hardest lessons that like I believe everyone right now can relate to, and they can relate to it in different ways. Like I've seen people on timelines like they're buying houses at 25. Some people, oh, some people becoming parents for the first time at 40 years old. Some people find their dream careers at 50 years old. And some just don't aspire to do anything at all. I guess that's okay. But the point is it's not about winning the race. It's about keeping moving, you know? Don't spend too much time like comparing yourself to the next person beside you or someone in your class. Like in your what is it, in your like high school class or your college class, like where are they here, where are they here? I see a lot of my college friends, they have like huge houses and they're going on vacations everywhere and they're doing, and I'm just like, why am I not doing that? Well, I became a teacher, that's why. So I don't get paid that much. I don't be able to do that. It's for the financial freedom would do to you. But I had to realize that things I was working for, things I was building to become, like I'm exactly where my journey has brought me. And now looking back at it, I'm like, now it's time to push forward and keep moving. When I became a father later on in life, it wasn't about being a father at 40. It was about being ready with the person I wanted to be with. You know, the per the person I wanted to, it was the person I wanted to be with. It was about the person I wanted to be with and have a child with. And really my career, not drifting forward to my career. It took me a long time to actually realize that teaching is my career. I do want to do other things. I am going to venture to other things, but teaching is for right now what I want to do. Um, and my perspective has changed from like, my worth to what I bring to the table when it comes to a relationship, it comes being a father, and what it becomes having my career. Being somewhere, being a part of something bigger than myself, how I can be a part of that and then continue growing in that field and becoming the best version of myself in that career. Um, Hope I got this mode going. So, um, now we're going down to our last lesson, which is going to be deep for a lot of people. So please hold your tears. I'm going to hold my tears, bring it down if I need to. Lesson 6. Your parents won't be here forever. This is something that I think about a lot. I never think about when I'm young, but I think about a lot more now that I'm older because you assume your parents will always be there. And then one day you notice they're getting older. Their hair is a little bit more grayer. You're hearing about more doctor visits and things that are like going wrong with them. Their energy changes. You're not able to go out as much. And then suddenly you realize that time is moving for them as well. And my advice is to please spend more time with your parents, please. Ask them questions, listen to their stories. And then one day you wish you had that last conversation, one more conversation with them. And that's something really important. Um, I adore my mom. I love my mom. I love everything that she does for me and what she sacrificed for us. I had to realize that a lot later in life, what she has done for us has been remarkable in how she's raised us. My family has separated a bunch of times, and we are separate in that way, but I still keep my mom dear in my heart. You know what I mean? And I hopefully that my sisters can as well. And and I hope everybody else can as well to be able to appreciate their moms and their dads. I know dads are a little flaky in my life, at least. But it comes, with the culture that has been built here. I appreciate the people who have raised me, family, friends, that have been there to advise me as I went along the way. My mom giving me advice whenever she needed to, especially if she's like doesn't really understand the ever growing times of our society. And then she has to give me advice on that based on her own experiences from her time. Um, and just being like appreciative of how they have taught me how to grow and become a better person, or not to become them, because they are, you know, anti-heroes in my story, doing things they're not supposed to do, or doing things they did do that kind of messed up their own lives, kind of like self-sabotaging and stuff like that. So I was able to learn from their mistakes and learn from what I need to do in my life to make my life better, if that makes more sense, right? So that was big. Um, because if you know, I am a mama's boy, so that's why that part really hits home. So hopefully everybody uh mind the tears. Hopefully you guys are good. Let's wrap this up. If I can go back in time and talk to my younger self, I would tell him one thing. I mean, I had an hour, so I'd tell him a lot. But it wouldn't be not to make those mistakes, because mistakes are part of life. I'll simply tell him this. Slow down. Ask questions. Keep learning. Please listen to people when they talk to you and give you advice. Choose people carefully. Don't ignore the red flags. Take care of your health. Invest in your future, especially Google. Could have invested and bought in Google. Bitcoin, back then too, when it was super cheap. And don't be afraid to change directions. Remember, the person you're becoming is more important than the mistakes you've already made. Because wisdom isn't about knowing everything, it's about taking what life teaches you and then passing that on. Anyway, I'm so glad you guys came and watched my podcast. Please like, share, comment, whatever lesson really does hone in on you. I appreciate it. This is definitely like a very deep episode. And I would just like to appreciate everyone who's been on here since episode 0. I'm wrapping it up with my last episode, which is going to be episode 10 for season 1. And that'd be it. So thank you so much for joining me, guys. This is Prada's Take, episode 9, Things I Wish I Knew. God be cool. Peace out.